I'm Janda, and in this episode of the Behind the Song podcast, powered by Chick-fil-A, I'm returning to a song that I've covered in this podcast before with a few updates. It's a song for the season, if there ever was one. Don Henley's The Boys of Summer, from his second solo album, Building the Perfect Beast, and I first got into this classic back in 2021. Let's see how those Ray-Bans and Deadhead stickers are doing now. And if you like this episode, you know what to do. Give it a like and hit subscribe. For Don Henley, the lyrics of this song all started with a Dylan Thomas poem called I See the Boys of Summer. That poem inspired a 1972 book by Roger Kahn about the heartbreak of Brooklyn Dodgers baseball fans when, a couple of years after winning the World Series in 1955, the team moved across the country to Los Angeles. The book, called The Boys of Summer, traces the lives of the stars of the team in the years afterward as they got older. Thomas's opening line in the poem about seeing the boys of summer after the gold of summer had ended, so to speak, became the inspiration for Henley's hit. It was the lead track from Building the Perfect Beast, released in 1984, 4 years after the Eagles had broken up for the first time after an onstage blowout between Don Felder and Glenn Frey. Henley was well into his solo career at that point. He and ex-girlfriend Stevie Nicks had a hit with the duet Leather and Lace on her first solo album, Belladonna. His own first solo effort, I Can't Stand Still, yielded him a big hit with Dirty Laundry in 1982. And when it came time for the follow-up, Henley had a little help from his friends. The entire album is littered with the best players around at the time. To name a few, Steve Porcaro of Toto, guitarist Charlie Sexton, and Lindsey Buckingham of Fleetwood Mac. Randy Newman stepped in as the synthesizer arranger on Sunset Grill, with an appearance by Ben Montench of Tom Petty's Heartbreakers on that song and others. And another heartbreaker made an even bigger impact on this body of work. Guitarist Mike Campbell, who co-wrote The Boys of Summer with Don Henley. And it's worth noting this little update. Building the Perfect Beast just got a fresh push back into the spotlight. In April of 2026, the album was newly reissued digitally and on vinyl, fittingly timed to a moment when the Eagles story itself may be entering its final chapter. More on that shortly. So, how did Mike Campbell end up writing a song that would be a hit for Henley and not Tom Petty? The simple answer is that Petty rejected it. Campbell had started working with a Linn drum machine to create demos and put together the music for a song he had in mind for Petty to hear and, if he liked it, to write lyrics for. The Linn drum machine was fairly new on the scene. Released in 1982, it used sampled drum sounds you've heard on plenty of 80s hits, but not exactly the sound you'd associate with Don Henley, who was, after all, the drummer for the Eagles. But it was the early 80s, and the precision of the drum machine sound was becoming an undeniable part of the rock landscape. Campbell put together a demo and played it for Petty and producer Jimmy Iovine, and was discouraged when both were underwhelmed. Iovine suggested a change to the chorus chords to make it sound more uplifting, which Campbell did. Little did he know, Iovine had something else in mind for the song entirely. He suggested Campbell try playing it for Don Henley, who was looking for material for his new solo album. At the time, Petty was preparing songs for the Heartbreakers' Southern accents, and Campbell figured that if Petty had genuinely liked the demo, he would have said so. So Campbell agreed to play it for Henley at Henley's house and left, not knowing if anything would come of it. He was surprised to get a call later from Henley, who told him he'd just written what he considered the best song of his life, set to the demo Campbell had recorded. Don Henley has said that his approach to writing lyrics is to put the music on in his car and drive around until the words come to him. That's how he wrote for the Eagles, and it's how the lyrics for The Boys of Summer took shape. By this point, Don Henley was in his mid-30s. His Texas youth had been spent chasing success with his first band, Shiloh, before moving to Los Angeles under the wing of country star Kenny Rogers. The whirlwind success of the Eagles had happened in his 20s, all the highs and lows of being in a band that talented and driven happening so fast. By his mid-30s, Henley had plenty in his rear view. At this point in his life, Henley was heading straight into his middle years, with a lot to look back on. So, Driving around Southern California, he came up with lyrics to the demo Mike Campbell had given him. It's a song about the pull of nostalgia that arrives when you remember someone who got away, and about holding on to some dignity as the years catch up with you, just as youth starts to fade. The Boys of Summer starts like this. Nobody on the road, nobody on the beach. I feel it in the air, the summer's out of reach. Empty lake, empty streets, the sun goes down alone. I'm driving by your house, though I know you're not home. But I can see you, your brown skin shining in the sun. You got your hair combed back and your sunglasses on. And I can tell you my love for you will still be strong after the boys of summer have gone. So in the song, the sun has gone down on summer and on the relationship he's singing about. The woman in the song maybe wasn't the most faithful, and yet she still holds a kind of romantic control over him. A summer love, here today, gone tomorrow. And it goes on. I never will forget those nights. I wonder if it was a dream. Remember how you made me crazy. Remember how I made you scream. Now, I don't understand what happened to our love. But babe, I'm gonna get you back. I'm gonna show you what I'm made of. Then it's back to the chorus, ending with the lines, I can tell you my love for you will still be strong after the boys of summer have gone. You can connect that persistence to the other body of work inspired by the Dylan Thomas poem I mentioned earlier. In The Boys of Summer, the book, Roger Kahn writes about the highs of the Brooklyn Dodgers winning the World Series and the heartbreak fans like him felt when the team left for Los Angeles. How deep does a real fan's love for a team run, even for a team that's moved across the country? And in the context of this song, how far might someone go to hold on to a person who's already slipped away as summer fades? On to the next verse with one of the most memorable lines in the song. Out on the road today, I saw a deadhead sticker on a Cadillac. A little voice inside my head said, don't look back, you can never look back. I thought I knew what love was. What did I know? Those days are gone forever. I should just let them go. And the chorus repeats. Let's talk about that deadhead sticker. As Henley told it in interviews at the time, he was driving on the 405 freeway in Southern California when a Cadillac Seville passed him with a Grateful Dead bumper sticker on the back. It stuck in his mind as a small, telling sign of his generation selling out as it aged, chasing money while still trying to hang on to some sense of cool. In the song, the idea of holding on to things that don't quite fit you anymore is tied to the larger idea that the most dignified thing you can do with a lost love is to walk away. Did anyone from the Grateful Dead ever comment on the fact that their band was included in this song in sticker form? No, but there's been plenty of discussion about it on the fan side, and of course, plenty of Deadhead Cadillac stickers and other merch made by fans that has shown up over the years on Shakedown Street. The song closes on one more pass through the chorus, this time picturing her with her hair slicked back and a pair of Wayfarers on, declaring once again that his love for her will still be strong after the boys of summer have gone, before it fades out. And about those Wayfarers, Ray-Bans were totally in vogue when Don Henley wrote this song, having had a resurgence because of movies like Risky Business, with Tom Cruise wearing a pair of Ray-Bans. So no doubt, Don Henley likely saw more than one pair of Wayfarers as he was driving around Southern California trying to come up with lyrics to this song, helping cement them as the sunglasses of the girl who got away. When The Boys of Summer was released, it went to number 1 on the Billboard Rock chart. It won a Grammy for Best Male Rock Vocal Performance and several MTV Video Music Awards that year, and the Building the Perfect Beast album went triple platinum. Did Tom Petty regret passing on the song? By most accounts, yes. He was reportedly surprised by how big it became. By the time Henley recorded it, the key had changed to suit his voice, so it sounded different from what Campbell originally played for him. But Petty later said that he liked listening to the finished version. Maybe some songs find their own way to the person who's supposed to sing them. There's something kind of poetic about the way this one moved from Tom Petty passing on it to Don Henley picking it up and writing to it. A song, after all, about remembering a past that you can't change. That theme of looking back feels especially relevant in 2026. The Eagles have spent the past several years on the Long Goodbye, a farewell tour that began in 2023 and has included an extended residency at the Sphere in Las Vegas, along with a run of 2026 stadium dates billed as the Long Goodbye Act 3. Earlier in the year, Henley told CBS Sunday Morning that he thinks 2026 will probably be the Eagles' final year, adding that he's said similar things before, but feels like the band is genuinely nearing the end this time, and that he's at peace with that. He said he's looking forward to spending more time with his family and growing vegetables, and to actually seeing more of the places the band has toured over the decades rather than just airports, hotel rooms, and venues. He also pointed to his work chairing 2 environmental nonprofits and to his 4 children and a grandchild as reasons he's ready for a fuller life beyond the road. Henley also reflected during that interview on the fact that the Eagles' greatest hits album, Songs from 71 to 75, was recently certified quadruple diamond, a reminder of just how far-reaching this band's music has been. It's not the first time this band has talked about an ending. They famously split in 1980 before reuniting in 94, releasing new music in 2007, and touring under various farewell banners since. But between Henley's comments and the way the Long Goodbye has been billed, there's a real sense that this chapter of the Eagles' story may finally be closing, which, in its own way, brings things back around to the song itself. Dylan Thomas wrote about seeing the boys of summer at the end of their proverbial run. And every time we see a Deadhead sticker on a Cadillac, thanks to Don Henley, we know that summer's gold may fade, but the memories, and apparently the music, tend to stick around a lot longer than we expected. Thanks for listening to this updated episode of Behind the Song. If you liked it, share it with a classic rock fan in your life. That's always the best way to share music. Special thanks to Christian Lane for the music you hear on these podcast episodes. You can find me on the air at Classic Rock 97.1 The Drive in Chicago and on the way. Much more classic rock and roll. Great news! Chick-fil-A Catering makes summer party planning easy. Choose from a variety of trays, including Chick-fil-A nuggets, mac and cheese, and chocolate fudge brownies. These party favorites are perfect for your summertime gatherings. Place your order through the Chick-fil-A app, online, or by calling ahead to pick up your order at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant, or get it delivered directly to your door. Take cooking off your plate this season and enjoy Chick-fil-A Catering. Availability and order requirements vary. See restaurant for details. Chick-fil-A. Eat more chicken.